Hello students, welcome to Minds Academy. This is Dr. Arvind. In this session, we will be discussing the topic of work culture from ethics. Under the topic of work culture, I will be dealing with the definition of work culture, features of work culture, characteristics, work culture in the Indian administration. I will be comparing the past with the present. Influences on the administrative work culture, why poor work culture in India, how to improve work culture from ethical perspective. Second ARC recommendations to improve the work culture and comparison between Indian as well as Western work culture, comparison between bureaucratic and private work culture, attitude towards work. In this topic, we'll be dealing with social attitude, at the same time spiritual attitude towards work, and qualities in work life. In this, we'll be dealing with attitude of the worker towards the organization and attitude of the employer, and how an organization should treat its workers. Coming to the definition of work culture, in every organization, there will be few people manning this organization. This organization is driven by certain values or norms or behavior or ethical principles. These norms or values are developed in an organization over a period of time. And development of these values is driven by its internal needs and external influences. For example, if you look at a government organization or a private organization, a government organization, its primary value is serving the public or public service is its primary motive. Whereas a private organization, its primary motive is making profit. So the need for this organization as well as the need for this organization is different. So when the need is different, values with which this organization works and the values with which the government organization works will be different. So coming to the definition, a work culture is defined as an existing practices, behavior, ethics and norms in a workplace that every individual absorbs and follows is called a work culture. This is evolved over a period of time and it is driven by many internal needs and external influences. At the same time, the history, the traditions, values, and vision of an organization also define the work culture or influence the work culture of an organization. Coming to the features of work culture will reflect the mentality as well as the character of an organization. For example, take any organization or an office. If in an office, a male employees as well as female employees are treated differently. For example, the consideration of the female employees is not taken, at the same time, more importance is given to the male employees. It highlights the value of patriarchal mindset. It does not reflect a true or good work culture. Secondly, a good work culture or a feature of work culture is to create a sense of identity for employees. Every employee is unique and contribution of every employee need to be recognized. At the same time, the work culture should regulate the use of discretionary powers. In an organization, there will be superiors as well as inferior subordinates. A superior is vested with the power and authority. So, this power and authority should not be used in a subjective manner. They should be used only in objective manner and as per the laid out rules and regulations. Coming to characteristics of healthy work culture. In a healthy work culture, there will be respect between two individuals. At the same time, the boss will treat every employer in the similar manner. There will be no differences between two workers on the basis of gender nor on the basis of caste. The only difference between these two or differential between these two is the performance of their work. So employees are judged only on the basis of their work, nothing else. Fourth point, employees' participation in decision making. That before taking any decision, there will be consultation with each and every worker. So participatory decision making is very important characteristics of a healthy work culture. And two-way communication. It is not always that boss will be giving orders to the subordinates. Boss should also be in a position to listen to the subordinates and take their concerns into consideration while taking any decision. Coming to work culture in Indian administration in the past and now. Now, attitude of the Indian administrators in the past was paternalistic. That means they are more focused on serving their masters, and now they are self-serving. They had a belief in performing well about their job in the past, but now their performance is degraded to just moving the files. In the past, there was no visible symbol of status, but administrators view themselves as a VIPs. They take pride in their privileges rather than taking it as a responsibility. In the past, there were field trips as well as troops. Now, they are confined to conferences between the four walls. At the same time, they give more emphasis on meeting politicians than meeting the common man. In the past, they were willing to retire. Now, they are not willing to retire. So, in terms of attitude, goal perception, status, public contact, and retirement, there is a clear difference between the past as well as present in the Indian administration. Now, there is a difference between strong work culture, the same time good and bad work culture. A strong work culture can be good, can be bad. What is desirable is strong plus good work culture. Best example for strong and good work culture is armed forces or any private consultancies like Tata. In case of strong plus bad work culture is police or public counters, where the people they have a bad work culture and they are not willing to change. They are so accustomed and so stubborn to this work culture that they are not willing to change. So here strong work culture is they have a strong belief or strong attachment or a strong sense of following their work culture. So what is desirable is a strong plus good work culture. A strong work culture need not be a good work culture. Strong work culture can be a bad work culture. Example, police or public counters. For example, in railway stations. Impact of strong work culture. It will influence the behavior of the people as well as attitudes. It acts as a substitute for formalization and reduces need for rules and supervisions. For example, there is a strong as well as good work culture. If there is a combination of these two in any organization, there is no need for any strong rules or supervision, because under this work culture, people are driven by internal influences. They have internally good values. So external control on these people is not necessary. See, we have two things, external control and internal control. Internal control is ethics or values, and external control is laws. So people are bound by certain values under these two. If people are driven by ethics and values, then they will be naturally inclined towards a good work culture. But if people are driven by any external influence or laws, whenever there is weak laws or whenever there is lack of supervision, then there will be a chance of moving towards a bad work culture. So what is desirable or what is needed is strong plus good work culture. So inefficiency in many organizations is due to strong but not bad work culture. Even a bad work culture can be changed if it is not strong. If the people manning any organization are willing to change under the influence or under the guidance of training or motivation, then there is a greater chance of moving these people in a particular organization from bad to good. But if they are so much stubborn, or if they strongly believe in their values and if they are not willing to change, and these bad values are further reinforced by a strong work culture, then there is difficulty. Such an organization will not be efficient, and it will be productivity of these organizations will be low. Now, influences on administrative work culture. So we'll be dealing this topic under three headings: societal, political, and judicial. Under societal, an administrative work culture is influenced by collectivist tendency or groupism. For example, in a society, there will be divisions based on the caste, creed, gender. So a particular caste, if an administrative officer belongs to particular caste, if any person belonging to the same caste comes to this officer for any help, then there will be a more likely chance of this officer helping this individual rather than the person belonging to another caste. So this creates groupism. Then this creates favoritism as well as nepotism. For example, an administrative officer A belonging to a particular caste called X, and another person belonging to a caste Y has come to an officer for a particular tender. Even though the Y submits the tender as per the required rules and regulations and he fulfills all the requirements, there is more likely to chance of this administrator if he is influenced by the caste and is likely to give this tender to X rather than Y. Coming to political, administrative work culture is influenced by politicization as well as political interferences. Day to day, on every day to day duty, if the administration is influenced by the political interferences, then the administrative work culture will be poor. At the same time, in case of coalition politics, most of the time ministers will be busy in protecting their government from falling. So, in that times, the supervision of ministers on the administration, that is the executive or the secretaries, will be less. then at that times the discretionary power of these secretaries or the administrative officers will be increasing many folds. Why? Because the minister or the particular government, most of the time it puts most of the time on protecting the government from falling. So the control or supervision of the minister on the particular bureaucrat will be less. As a result, the power of the bureaucrat will increase many folds because there will be no supervision from the top. Third, judicial. An overburdened judiciary with delay in justice further increases the discretionary power. For example, justice which is delayed and justice is denied. If any wrong done by a particular administrative officer is questioned only within a fixed time, then there is likely that the administrative officer is most likely not to commit such mistakes. If a particular case or a particular offense goes on dragged in the court for so much of time period, then there will be a sense of lenience developed in an administration or in an officer. Then such kind of officers will be most tilted to committing mistakes. Coming to the topic of why poor work culture in India. So the primary reasons for poor work culture in India are British legacy. See, more than 200 years of British rule. At the same time, we have also inherited the civil services from the British. Initially, the civil service was created by the British to primarily benefit themselves, whereas after independence, the primary role of civil service was to serve the poor. But even after independence, the civil servants carried out the role mostly the British has envisaged. So, the primary reason for poor work culture in India is British legacy, inappropriate personal management, poor office layout and file management, societal aspects, as I said earlier, caste, creed, family, friends, likely to affect the decision making of a bureaucrat. Next, Indian work culture. Unlike Indian work culture as well as Islamic work culture on one hand, Christian or Western work culture on other hand, Indian and Islamic work culture will make a differentiation between manual work and intellectual work, whereas Christian or Western work culture will not make any difference between manual and intellectual work. So, the Indian culture, where the manual labor is despised and mental work is preferred. Next, casual attitude, holiday culture. Even today, judiciary enjoys a holiday in summer for more than 30 days. No organizational loyalty, more emphasis on rights than on duties. A good work culture emphasizes more on duties than on rights. See, when an officer fails to perform a duty, it will result in a compromisation on the rights of a particular individual. For example, see, there is a hospital, a government hospital here. In a government hospital, a government doctor will be posted. So, as per the rules and regulations, the doctor has to visit the hospital by 9 a.m. It is as per his duty, he has to be in the hospital by 9 a.m. So, if this doctor fails to visit this hospital by 9 a.m., and if any critical patient comes to this hospital at 9 a.m., the right to health of the patient is compromised. So, when there is the failure to perform a particular duty, then there will be an assertion for right. If all the duties are performed as per rules and regulations, then there will be fulfillment of rights of the people. So, If duty is an obligation, right is an assertion by the individual. If these obligations are performed well by the officials, then there will not be any assertion for rights. So there should be more emphasis on duties rather than rights. But in the current Indian work culture, there is more emphasis on rights rather than on duties. So how to improve work culture from ethical perspective? See, we should focus on ego sublimation rather than ego assertion. It means in ego sublimation, you are dealing with subordinate in a more polite manner rather than emphasizing your authority over it. See, in any office, there will be superior as well as there will be juniors or subordinates. If the superior convey message in a more polite manner, the junior is more likely to obey rather than asserting his authority. Even if there is assertion, the junior may obey for 1 or 2 times, but over a period of time, there will be conflict between these two, and it will lead to a poor work culture. So, focus on ego sublimation rather than ego assertion. There should be sacrificing spirit rather than fighting spirit. Team achievement rather than individual achievement. Focus should be more on ensuring that all the members of an organization perform as a team and every individual of an organization perform rather than focusing only on one individual. So concept of duties rather than concepts of rights. Focus on spiritual attainment rather than material prosperity. If there is more emphasis on material prosperity rather than spiritual attainment, then there will be corruption. So officials, rather than helping poor, there will be self-aggrandization of materials. Now coming to second ARC recommendations on improving the work culture. So first major recommendations is simplification. Focus on single window approach and minimizing hierarchy. See, if there is only one set interface between the citizens and bureaucrats rather than multiple interface, then there will be simplification of procedures. At the same time, minimizing hierarchy also reduces delay and well as corruption. The code and manual should be simplified and regularly updated. For example, the code of conduct, code of ethics, citizens charter, etc. should be regularly revised and simplified so that its proper meaning is understood to everyone. At the same time, it is also implemented in letter and spirit. Use of precise terms, phrases like ASAP should be done away with because using these terms will lead to discretion. What is ASAP? For me, it may be 10 days, for others, it may be 10 months. So, there should be use of precise terms. There should be a system of rewards and incentives for simplification. Reward will encourage innovation and creativity, as well as it will promote honesty. Principle of positive silence. For example, a particular application is given, for example, for house construction has been submitted to a municipal office. And as per the said rules and regulations, this municipal office is supposed to give permission within 10 days. If the said office fails to give permission even within 10 days, then the approval is deemed to be done. For example, in the state of Telangana has launched TS iPass, where it has incorporated positive silence, where the officials fail to clear all the approvals for launching any business within the stipulated time, then the permission is deemed to be have given. This is one example. Next, proper supervision and proper monitoring as well as evaluation.